Hello, all of my edgies. Hello, welcome, and thank you for watching the replay. I am so happy to have you here. Hi, Regina. Welcome. I don't know if I said your name right. Tell me your name and where you're from. I'm going to start coloring, but I wanted to show you what today's question was because I figured out that I could put it on my little clear sheet. So welcome. Hello, Wills. How is everyone's new year, first day of 2016 going? My name is Lisa. If you are new here, I just try to color in a little bit of my mandala each day before we start our talk. I feel like it opens up my mind and allows me to think through some of these processes that I share with you. I'm sorry that it's so blurry. It's kind of starting to look very colorful. Once I added that red, it got really bright. So if you're in here, I would love to know your answer to today's question, what can I do? And that is a very broad question, so I'm curious to hear what your initial response is. What can I do? So what can I do? I'm going to try to get all these circles done before I talk. I know everyone is very busy today, so I did a really quick yoga scope. Hopefully you got to see it. Reverse prayer hands earlier. I'm so sad that Periscope makes my camera blurry so you can't see this picture more vividly. You're missing all the beautiful little details. Hello. Okay, I think there's one more, and then we can talk. Oh, nope, that one I already colored, actually. So those are green. I'll color more in a little bit later. Hi! Alright, so maybe I'll color while I talk to you. That might be a good idea. And then I'll try to answer any questions at the end. I put on my new chapstick that I got from Believe Organics. Yeah! Hello, welcome. Today we're going to talk about what can I do, and I have a quote for you. So I'm curious what your answer to that question is. What can I do? What is your answer? I'd love to hear. Hi, Evelyn. I'm so glad you're here because there's not a lot of people on here today, and I kind of want to hear everyone's response to the question. And as always, if you're watching the replay, you can always answer the question on Instagram or Twitter at box_edge. So just because you didn't catch me live doesn't mean that I don't want to hear your response. I always love to hear what you have to say. What can I do? I feel like this one is should really hit home for you, Evelyn. And I actually came up with a question after I read what today's quote is because, oh yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, enough coloring. It's coming along pretty well. There's so much to color. This one is pretty hard. What can I do and what? And that's up for you to determine. So I asked myself this because, here, I'll tell you why. I switched quote books. So I got this for Christmas, Inspiration 360 5 days a year by Zig Ziglar. And so I just updated my blog. If you go to boxedge.org, this is linked on there because it is so amazing. Like, it has a quote for every single day. And I love my little book. I love my little Simple Wisdom book. But when my mom got me this, I was like, okay, I gotta switch to this for my posts at least. But I take this with me, you know, and whenever I am not feeling so great, then I usually read it. So I don't get to choose the quotes though, so that's a little bit different, but that's okay because I think it'll help inspire me. And so this is literally January 1st. There's beautiful scenery, amazing photography. And today's quote for January 1st is from Theodore Roosevelt. It says, "Do what you can with what you have where you are." So what you can with what you have where you are. And when I read that, it was really perfect timing because I feel like right now I want to do so many things. I have so many ideas of all of these great things that I could share with you, but it takes time, you know? So for example, I want to teach you yoga, and I can teach you a lot of yoga, but I know that I still have a lot of learning to do too, so it will take a while. Yeah. Oh, pizza, yum. Eat one for me. Happy New Year, Evelyn. Bye. So I want to teach yoga, and I want to, there's, literally my list is too long. Sometimes I sit up at night and I just, write down ideas because it's just too much. But sometimes I get overwhelmed by that idea because I want to give, and it's not time for some of those things. So they're coming. So eventually I'll get a yoga teacher certification, so it'll get there, and I can teach you a lot because I have experience from being a gymnast and a dancer, and all these other different random things have helped me learn yoga, so I can teach you in that way, and I'm going to on Periscope. However, right now, what I know that I'm an expert at is helping others feel good about themselves. And I think it's still a fear thing that I'm facing where I know that I can help you, and I've helped so many, but I think there's that little voice inside of my head that kind of makes my mind busy that says, well, is that really what you should be doing? Or maybe you should just go get a certification to teach yoga, or maybe you should make a project, or maybe you should just get a job and then just help your friends. And so because of the doubt in my mind, it's overpowering, and that's why I have these lists and get ahead of myself and then get so overwhelmed that I don't know what to do, as you can see. So that quote meant a lot to me because it puts me in the now. It says, what can you do? What does it say again? What can you do? Sorry. Do what you can with what you have and where you are. And so that's what I myself am focusing on, because I am doing what I can. I use my resources very specifically for what I can do. Hi, welcome. And with what you have, so that's the part where many people are like, well, what are you going to do? And I say that I am an entrepreneur, and I think a lot of people, unless you have a brick and mortar store or a physical, I'm gonna sell my Believe chapsticks or something like that, then I get a lot of questions well, what do you do? And I it's hard to explain that I just teach people and inspire them. That's kind of so not tangible that a lot of times I get a very weird look back in return. And I'm kind of like over it. I don't really mind, because those who give me that look in return pretty much don't need me. They're not the ones that need my help, and the ones that do get it, like, they're like, yeah, you're gonna help me. And so that's why it says, you know, do what you can with what you have. So this is what I have. I have a really tiny cottage. I have the grand outdoors. I have my brain. I have my experience, and I have some technological skills. So that's why I made a blog, because I can take pictures of the grand outdoors that I get to see almost every day, every week. I can talk to you in this little tiny cottage, and it doesn't matter that there's no room for me to bring you in here and talk to you. I have my experiences, which will help you learn how to feel great about yourself, how to love yourself, accept everything about yourself, and move forward to work on you. And I put that all onto my blog. So that's where I am, you know, and I need to start focusing on that. So that's going to be really big starting this month, this year, 2016, right now. So that's what I'm going to do. And I understand that I can have ideas for the future, and that's great. I write them down. But do I have to make a yoga mat right now? No, like that's way ahead of itself, you know. But do I need to write down and track all of these teachings that I could give you so that you can actually access them, since you literally don't have a door to walk into my brain and be like, let's see what Lisa would say to help me through this. Hi, Lena. So today's quote is, do what you can with what you have where you are. Nicole, hi. So do what you can with what you have where you are. And it was said by Theodore Roosevelt. And so that's why the question of today is, what can I do? Hi. So I want to hear what you can do, because I just explained what I can do, and I'm going to be doing it. I am going to build an entire online course to help you love yourself. It's said. It's been on my mind for months, and it's what I did best when I had a dance studio. They didn't come to learn how to dance. They came to feel better about themselves. Yeah. And so the journey begins. And right now, while I am building it, I give you resources on my blog. If you go to boxedge.org, I give you links to all the books and all the yoga stuff. Pretty much anything that I have done and used through this little journey, I put on there. And it helps me if you get them, and if they can help you. And that's where I'm at. So that's what I have. And many times, you know, no worries. No worries. Bye, Nicole. Thank you so much for the hearts. Good. I'm so glad. You really help keep me going. Thank you so much. Namaste, Nicole. So, it was pretty quick today. You know, I didn't have to do too much thinking, because, you know, it's been on my mind for quite some time anyways. Hey, Sean! I saw you, earlier. You were asking some sort of question. I felt like I was going to tell you something, but I don't remember what it was. Thank you, and Happy New Year to you too. I am curious to hear what your answer of today's question of the day is. What can I do? Because I'm sharing some deep information about my life with you, and hope to ask you these questions. That's part of how I actually better myself, is I ask myself questions and I question what I'm doing. Oh yeah, the yoga retreat. I don't think I'm going, because I am in the process of paying off much debt from a previous business. And yeah, if I have the funds by the time that the retreat is happening, then I actually do want to go, because I've always wanted to go to Costa Rica, and I love the yoga pharmacist, and you know, who knows, maybe I'll get lucky and win that discount from the challenge. But I'm welcoming it into my life, and I know that is a very big process. It's taken me a while. Yeah. Yes, it's at box_edge on Instagram, if you have that. So, yeah, I'm accepting, you know, money and abundance into my life. And when I say abundance, I don't mean please make me a millionaire. Okay. I mean, like, allow me to just have what I need to continue, like, this journey, so that I can be safe and healthy and happy. And that's what I am accepting. I think I was kind of torturing myself before. I was such a perfectionist that I do notice that I have a bad tendency to expect myself to kind of go through hell when I let myself down. And I didn't really like think about it until just now, but yeah, like when my studio failed, I think I almost wanted to feel bad, and I wanted to like be like, look what you now have to go through, like you're just gonna be broke and you don't want to go back to a regular like job because your mind is just not in there, so now you're just gonna be like struggling for a while. And it sounds crazy, but you know, even though I tried to think of ways to make money, it wasn't something that would give me abundance. And I think it was all because of myself. I was limiting myself. I wasn't putting myself out there and accepting that it was okay for me to move on and for my life to go forward. And now I am. I am accepting that. So that's why I've started my blog. I was ready to use money as a energy exchange. I've been hearing that phrase a lot lately, and I really love that because it's so true. We are grow out of failures, not success. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Everything that I have grown from in my life has been from AKA failure, and so it was kind of such a big one that I was a little bit blinded by it for a little bit. But I knew even whenever it was happening, I was like, yeah, you know, this sucks and I'm going to cry a lot, and I had withdrawals, but I knew that I needed to do it because I knew that it was like, I could see that I could be so much bigger than a little tiny studio for dancers in a little tiny city, that I was not able to reach those who I really wanted to reach, who were welcoming it, who needed it more than like just like a handful of people. And if I wouldn't have failed, then I would have just stayed there forever. And I feel like I would have been like a gem. Like, okay, here's an analogy. I do like analogies, you guys. So I felt like I go to the beach a lot, and I go to the Treasure Coast all the time. And I don't know if you know anything about Florida's Treasure Coast, but there have been like tons of shipwrecks over these years. And there's tons of gold out there. There's gold and diamonds and rubies and like old artifacts. All of this amazing stuff that is out there at the beach that you can go to every single day. I go there every week. And if no one is looking for it, or if the like waves don't happen to crash down on them and break them up so that they come up on shore, then no one would find them. And I feel like I'm one of those like doubloons just sitting. I don't want to be a doubloon. I want to be like I want to be a ruby ring. Okay, so like I'm like one of those ruby rings sitting in the bottom of the not so far out ocean. Like, you could probably swim to it even. And until just life came crashing down on me, I wouldn't be able to be shown to the rest of the world. So I was there, and I was waiting but I was sinking and sinking and sinking the blue diamond. And I was just sunk. And then life hit me hard, and you know, it probably wasn't a good ride for that ruby ring or that blue diamond ring either. But then, like, I feel like I'm finally washing ashore so that others can actually find me and appreciate what I have to share. I almost made myself cry just talking about that. Wow, that's like kind of inspiring my own self. And I think that everyone is like that. There's very few people that I see that I feel like really have accepted that ride, like, and have put themselves on the beach and been like, here I am, like, here I am a treasure, I'm here, accept everything awesome about me and just spread it to the world. And that's why they get put into like museums, because they want everyone to see like what they have to offer and everything about them. And what do we, gosh, this is an awesome analogy. What do we learn from those like treasures? It's not really so much about the actual metal or the actual gem. Instead, when you find a treasure, what do? They go and put it into a like a plaque or a case, and they put the history beside it. And it's not the actual metal or the actual diamond or the like iron, cast iron that's giving it value. It's the story behind it. And that's exactly what I feel like that I have to offer. It's not this physical body or this face. Oh, you're welcome. I know, and I know that, and I've always known that, and I've always tried to inspire, but I was always really, really small scale because I had my own self-confidence issues. And so that's why when now look, this is my little case. Periscope is like my little case that I'm in. Hello. And you're not going to learn from just looking at me, just staring at, okay, well, she's going to do some yoga poses, or, okay, she's got a dress on and no makeup. But instead, you're going to learn by looking over to that little, like, description and the story behind it and hear how it can apply to you and inspire you. Because how many times have you looked at those little like plaques that talk about treasure found in your backyard, and you're like, now I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go out and do that. I'm gonna go find that treasure. And so now that's what I'm going to do for you. I'm here to help share my story with you so that you can go find your own story and share it with everyone else, because everyone has something to share. And many of you might not be sharing it, and I don't want you to hide it anymore. Wow, that was a really long analogy, and I am going to have to figure out how to type that up into Instagram. But, do you have any other feedback as far as, you know, questions about yourself that maybe I could help you with? I know. It's the first one I've ever actually even considered to go to, because I am like so new into actual yoga. But seriously, if you do message me, I'll read it, because I am curious what you know about it. Are you like running it, or what are you in that that realm? And Lena, I think you're in here. I want to know what you... Okay, thank you. Lena, I really want to hear what you have to say too, because I feel like you... Good. So... what can you do? Like, I know that you're basketball, like, all-star, and then tell me something else that you can do. Share with us something about yourself so that we start to see that treasure shining from within you. I'm sure that you have something. And Alan, if you're still just going my only interest, making sure. Oh, thank you. Yeah, message me. Exactly. And see, that is one thing that I notice many people that I have met on my journey are very timid to share their experience. And so, you know, if you really are like, oh my God, I don't want to say anything, it's totally fine. I'm not going to give you like negative energy for not sharing. However, so many girls that I have taught dance to in the past, I have pressed on them to open themselves up, and so many of them, I guarantee you, every single one of the 10 that I teach right now will tell you that at the beginning they hated it. They were like, oh my gosh, she just keeps asking me these questions and like making me do these things that like I don't really know if I can do. And then once they kind of like realize like, okay, she's gonna just keep doing this, so I might as well just go ahead and open it up or try it, or, you know, just see what happens, then they like started to blossom. And it's crazy. It's like the reason why I love to teach is because of that feeling that I get when I can see that little like switch go in their mind when they go from like, I'm not so sure of myself and I'm not really like feeling me, to, okay, F it, I'm just gonna do it. And then it's like all of a sudden they just like are so accepting of themselves, and that's what I'm trying to push you to do. So if there's anything that you know that you are timid about, and not because you're just like a private person that just doesn't feel like you need to share, but more like you're uncomfortable. No, but I wouldn't have had it if I lost a job before. Yeah, see, exactly. And like I had a lot of jobs in the past, and every single one of them that I quit, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do if I quit this? This is gonna be a terrible idea. And then I went to something else, and I either made more money or made it was like more happy for me, or I learned something new. I never had that balance though, which is what I am looking for right now. Exactly. And even whenever I quit my corporate job to just try to put all my efforts into my previous dance studio, that was so terrifying. And yes, a lot of negatives were on my list as far as what was going to happen, but I knew that it was like make or break moment where I needed to follow my dreams, or else I was going to get sucked into the vacuum of like monotonous living. And I had too many examples of those who had unfortunately suffered from that. Yeah, right? So